is a sailboat, and it's 12 inches finished. Here is the diagram. And here's what it looks like with 4. You could probably switch these. If you have the half square triangles going the other way, then the boat can be sailing left or right. The only pieces in this are squares, rectangles, and half square triangles. The first patch A is cut 8.5 inches by 2.5 inches for a 2 inch by 8 inch finished rectangle. We'll need 2 patches of the background, and these go on the sides here. For patch B, we cut 2.5 inch squares for a 2 inch finished square. We need 5 patches, and these go in the sail area. They're scattered about here, and we're going to use 2 for the stitch and flip to make the boat. Patch C are half square triangles, 2 inch finished, and we'll cut 2 7/8 inch squares, cut them in half diagonally once to get 2 patches. We'll need 13 for the background and an assorted number of different colors, and you can mix these up however you want. And patch D is cut 12.5 inches by 2.5 inches for a 2 inch by 12 inch finished rectangle. And we have 1 for the water and 1 for the boat. Here they are, down here. How we're going to piece this is take the boat piece, patch D, and 2 of the B patches, the squares, and we're going to stitch and flip these angles, these corners here, to make the boat. Either stitch and flip or folded corner clipper. Then we'll make the half square triangles and piece the block together. Here are the pieces I've chosen, my white background here, and then in the half square triangles, and I have 3 different half square triangles, fabrics. Here is the patch A for the sides, and here is the boat and the water patches. Another great alternative for this background would be a light blue sky color or some sky fabric. I think would be really neat. Okay, I'm going to piece the stitch and flips and then the half square triangles. I've pieced all the half square triangles and they're over here. Now I'm going to take the boat fabric and we're going to stitch and flip. We'll just place 2 pieces. I draw my line so I'll know which way I want the angle to go. I'll draw my line this way and this way because that's what I want. Let's do that. I'll just stitch on this line and cut off the outside parts here and press the seams open. I've stitched on the line and now I'm going to trim it to 1/4 inch. And this doesn't have to be perfect, 1/4 inch. And then over here, I'll trim this one. But let me flip it around. Now I'll just press these seams open and we have our boat. Okay, now we're going to put the block together. I'm going to put the water down here first, then the boat, and we'll start putting the sails down. Now I would just piece these rows here on the inside, so that's all one piece. Then stitch these to the sides, stitch these 2 together, and then stitch this big piece to that piece. And we'll put the block together. I wanted to show you something. When I stitch anything to these half square triangles or anything with a point, I put this piece on here and I'm going to sew here. Let's turn it over. Normally I like to put the seams toward the feed dogs, but when I have something like this where I want to make sure the points are matching, if you can see this part here, This is the half square triangle for this one right here. And when I'm stitching down here, I try to put my stitching right on this point. You see this is, it's hard to see this, I know. Let me see if this one's better. Okay, this is a little bit better. Here is the little half square triangle right here in this area here in the seam allowance. This little piece goes to this triangle. And you can see at that point right there is where you want to put your stitching. Because if you're out here, you're going to cut off your points. If you're over here, it's just not going to look right. If I don't have an absolute perfect 1/4 of an inch, that's fine. I'd rather have my pretty points showing on the other side. Now, if you're way off of a 1/4 of an inch and your points aren't right, then something else is wrong. When you press it, your points will come out almost perfect. So these will be pressed, and it will. Here's a pretty point and a pretty point. And that's how you get those points. Here's the block, and when I pressed the boat to the sail, I decided to press it towards the boat because all of these half square triangle seams did not want to go open, and it just laid flatter if I pressed it this way. Here's the back and the front again. Thank you for watching.